On the 8th of February 1587, one of the most shocking events in British history took place. A 44-year-old woman, an anointed queen, was led to the block and decapitated. Her death warrant had been signed by her own cousin. The Queen was Mary, Queen of Scots, and the warrant was signed by Elizabeth I of England.
She really was incredibly striking. She had this marvellous auburn hair, these great big eyes, beautiful skin, and most strikingly of all, she was 6 foot tall.
Historians don't agree on very much about Mary, but one thing in which they all agree is she should never have married Bothwell.
To many people, this second marriage confirmed the Queen's involvement in Darnley's murder. In London, Elizabeth was horrified.
There's nothing more Elizabeth dreads at this precise moment than reading the missives from Scotland in the morning. She can't bear them. Scottish news just, sends her into a tailspin of despair.
She says, why are you doing this as a queen? You have to remember your own dignity, your own status. She pretty explicitly says to Mary, you are damaging the status of all queens in these islands as you do this.
I believe that Elizabeth had all along decided that she would never marry. Because she knew that if you did, you would end up like Mary with Darnley or Mary with Bothwell.
By marrying Mary, Bothwell was pursuing his ruthless determination to be king. But far from being Mary's protector, he had left Mary open to the biggest danger of all, losing her crown. For the Protestant lords, his ambition had gone one step too far. She was imprisoned at a remote castle outside Edinburgh. Her baby son, James, was taken into the care of the Protestant lords. Mary would never see him again.
Emotionally, she's a broken woman. Well, what's going to happen? What are they going to do to me?
Instead of offering her support to Mary, Elizabeth did precisely the opposite.
Initially, she is under house arrest, but under house arrest in a very graceful manner. She has all her things around her, she has servants, she has ladies, and when she wants to go and take the waters in Buxton, very good for the health, she has a proper royal procession there. So she is still a queen.
Then there were horses allowed for her, people to cook her food, arguably a good idea in case she was poisoned. People to look after even her hair. She's supposed to have had the most expensive hairdresser in Europe.
I mean, she's bored witless. She's quite good at needlecraft just because she is bored, I guess. But as the confinement goes on, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
The battle between the two queens was reaching its climax. Mary was charged with treason and sentenced to death. Elizabeth did not attend the execution.
There's a plinth 12 by 12, 2 feet high, 2 executioners. She climbs upon the plinth.
There's a letter in which Elizabeth says to Mary, where did it all go wrong? Here we are, queens of neighbouring kingdoms. I did my best. Something terrible happened. Now, we've ended as, mortal enemies. She has regrets.
It was an absolutely starring performance. It was the greatest performance of her life.
She puts her arms out like a bird, crying, Manus Teus, into thy hands I commend my spirit.
Elizabeth knew that she was neutralising the greatest threat to her own life and to her own rule. But she also knew that she was letting the hounds of hell out of the door. She knew that she had set a precedent for the execution of a sovereign monarch on British soil.
And he swings at her with the axe. She still lives. She's heard muttering something, crying out. Then he has to go at her again.
He cuts away, like a butcher's block, the last sinews of her head.
I've always maintained that Mary was the unluckiest queen in British history.
Mary never achieved her dream of sitting on the throne of England, but her son James did. Although estranged from Mary in life, James honoured his mother by commissioning a grand tomb for her in Westminster Abbey. She still lies there today, alongside none other than her cousin, Queen Elizabeth.